We are 5 weeks into the NFL season, and finally, after 5 weeks, Luke, we have some breaking news on the HBCU NFL report brought to you guys by HBCU Game Day. As always, I am Symone. He is Luke. We are fully virtual, fully digital today. You're always in Greensboro, but this time I'm up north, Luke, so I'm not in Atlanta today.
And I'm out of Greensboro. I'm in Danville, Virginia. But it's all
okay.
good.
Okay, so we both on the road, but we have some breaking news. We already broke the news on the website, but this is some breaking news for our show. Matt Rhule, former Carolina Panthers head coach not even in the middle, only 5 weeks into his third season with the Panthers, he is out as the head coach. And we have a former HBCU coach, now the interim coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, we have Mike Wilks. He's got HBCU roots, started at Johnson C. Smith as a defensive coordinator back in the early 90s, went over and moved over to Savannah State, where he was a defensive coordinator, eventually became the head coach, but has endeared himself in the NFL in terms of being a top quality defensive coach, had a stint only 1 year as a head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And after going 3-13, he was fired after 1 year. And he eventually signed on to the lawsuit that Brian Flores of the former Miami Dolphins head coach filed against the NFL, talking about the degree to which they were discriminating against African-American coaches. So this is, in a way, it's kind of a get back for him to return to the Carolina Panthers, because he left the Panthers as a defensive assistant. I think he was a defensive coordinator, had been a defensive backs coach. He left the Panthers to go to the Arizona Cardinals. So now he's back and he has another opportunity. This may be the NFL's attempt to say that we're not really locking out or discriminating against Black coaches, but he's been given a job on an interim basis. And if we listen to the head honcho, who is David Tepper, with the Carolina Panthers, he said he will be given every opportunity. But when you take over 1-14, what does he have to do? He has to perform a miracle, basically, to get the Panthers back in the mix. But it is an opportunity, and it's certainly an opportunity I'm sure he's going to reach out and grab.
It'll definitely be a miracle if he can do anything with this Panthers team. I mean, Matt Rhule, there's not much you can do. I saw like a list of all like the quarterbacks that Matt Rhule had during his time with the Panthers. It's not much you can do with the talent that they have in Carolina right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. The days when what's the wide receiver's name? Steve. What was his last name?
Steve. He was a running back, I thought. We're supposed to know this. We're like Carolina
people. Be experts. Yeah, he's on
like
the
this is
NFL
so bad
network now.
This is so bad.
But I'm saying those were the days when the Panthers did have talent. They had Cam Newton at quarterback. They had a top quality running back. This is the attempt to make the Panthers relevant again, because they haven't been relevant in quite some time. I can't think of his name either.
I'm thinking Steve Smith. Okay.
Steve Smith. Yeah. So he's on the NFL. He's on the NFL.
We were going to get exiled. Like,
right.
Rushed past that too fast, Luke. You rushed past that too fast. Like,
yeah, well, no, I hadn't thought about it, but Steve Smith and Cam Newton were part of the Carolina Panthers in their early days when they were very relevant. Matt Rhule came in, a college coach. Not a lot of people knew about Matt Rhule. I guess you had to be a real insider to really know about him. But he came in with high expectations, but he has not turned them around. But I agree with you. The talent level, wide receivers, the guys who used to be there, like the tight end that everybody knew. Those guys are gone. There's a whole new crop of players, maybe other than their running back, who's been an all-pro running back, and he can't even stay healthy. Mm-hmm. So it's a big job for Steve Wilks, but certainly an opportunity for him that I'm sure he's going to take advantage of. He does like Brian Flores. He'll make he will make something out of nothing, as Brian Flores did in Miami. And now we see Miami has been flourishing under this new coach that they have. But it's certainly an opportunity. I'm glad to see Steve Wilks get another opportunity.
So we're gonna be rooting for the Panthers. Do you like root for the Panthers, Luke? Like, I know you're a Steelers fan, but do you root for the Panthers, like, low-key?
No, I never really have, the idea that you have to root for the team because it's in the state. I'm not really from the state of North Carolina. I live in Greensboro, but I'm from Virginia. And I grew up hating the Washington Redskins because they made us watch them every week, no matter how bad they were, with Sonny Jurgensen and Billy Kilmer as the quarterback. So I never attached myself to the team that's the most local. But, certainly when you live in North Carolina, there are a lot of Panther fans who've adopted them because it's the first time that North Carolina has had a team. So, no, I don't really root for them. I rooted for Cam when he was there. I certainly root for the HBCU players that they've had a few, like Fred Lane out of Lane University was one time their star running back. But I do wish Steve Wilks good luck.
So we keep name dropping Cam Newton. It's like the perfect time. Like, it's the perfect time to talk about this. So Cam Newton, this past weekend, he was at, well, was it this past weekend or the weekend before last? He was at Tennessee.
Couple of weeks.
It was the video just dropped. The video just dropped. But it takes some time to edit, put it all together.
Sure.
It was like 2 weeks ago. Cam Newton was at Tennessee State University's homecoming. One of my friends went to Tennessee State, so I'm watching like their homecoming on her Instagram stories. It was definitely looking like a good time. But that was Cam Newton's first HBCU homecoming. It's nothing like it. Looked like he had a time.
He did. He had his family with him. And folks don't know that Cam Newton, his family is an HBCU family. I think his father went to Savannah State. He had a brother, Cecil Newton, that played at Tennessee State and went to the league before Cam did. They're a HBCU family, much similar to your man, Jalen Hurts. His brother played quarterback for Texas Southern out of the SWAC. His father is a high school coach in the state of Texas. They're an HBCU family as well. And Cam went to the homecoming, went to the parade. He had his kids all over Nissan Stadium in Nashville. And he talked about his HBCU background in the video, if you watch the video. And it was a long video because it showed him playing with the kids. The kids look just like him.
They look just he got a lot like him.
They do. And he got a lot of love. He got a lot of love from the Tennessee State folks who knew the reputation of his brother, Cecil Newton, who played there. They welcomed him with open arms. He had a suite up in the rafters at the Nissan Stadium. So no, it was a great event to see and for people to know. Like a lot of kids, and if not most of them, if you check their history, there's a whole lot of HBCU in their history.
Luke, I'm glad you said that because every time I see Cam's kids, they look like spitting images of him.
They do.
They look just like there's no denying those kids. Like those are your kids.
Right.
So
and for once, Cam didn't have on one of those outfits. He was just
looking all regular. What's wrong with the outfits?
There's nothing wrong with it.
You said he didn't have on one of those outfits like it's something wrong with it.
Well, look, when he was going to the games, he would always dress. He looked like what's the kid from what's the comedian? I can't think of his name. He was dressing like no, the white comedian, that was on he was on with the Wayans, what's his name? The white kid.
I
forgot, but he played the movie. There was on the Wayans brothers. There was a white comedian that was with them. I can't think of his name.
We can't think of nobody's name.
I can't remember. But anyway, Cam would come in with the feathers in his hair and all the weird colors. He was always
it's funky. He calls it funky
when he came to the game.
Funky.
Is that what he does? Okay, I call it weird. But anyway. Whatever turns him on. But he was dressed I'm so used to seeing him like that with some kind of hat on and whatnot. But he was just chilling, having a good time at the homecoming. That was great to see.
So
you're always educating me.
Well,
Symone.
Cam calls it funky. He calls it funky. So
okay.
Funky. I'm calling it
I got you.
Everybody calls it something different. I would have called it flamboyant. You call it weird. He called it funky.
Yeah. It was different. I can tell you that for sure.
Definitely stands it out. He's got some other young players trying to look like him too. Like I feel like Kyler Murray tries to get that little funky look going too. But You got to back up. If you want to dress funky in the press conferences, you got to be balling out. Like, at least Cam was balling.
He was, for sure.
So let's get into the players of the week. So back to back for this guy. He going back to back. Week 4, week 5. Indianapolis Colts. Defensive player of the week.
Grover Stewart kind of separated himself this week because not only did he have just 3 tackles, a couple of solos, but he blocked a kick. And, the Colts won their first game. They knocked off who they beat. They beat 12-9. They beat Denver
game.
On Thursday.
They
was
beat
it
the
Chiefs. Second
Chiefs.
win?
Yeah, they beat the Chiefs randomly.
Oh, that's right. They did beat somebody last week. You're right. But the good thing is he's continuing to play well as they continue to try to heal with Shaquille Leonard. Yeah. And, without Shaquille Leonard, we don't have anybody putting up big stats on defense, double-digit sacks or double-digit tackles and all that kind of stuff. So we've been kind of sure. We've missed kind of Darius, now Shaquille Leonard. We miss his production, because guys that are playing on the defensive line, like Grover Stewart, like your Javon Hargrave, they don't pile up a whole bunch. Yeah, I know you were. They don't pile up a bunch of tackles like linebackers do. Their job is to occupy the linemen so that the linebackers can make the tackles. So we don't have a lot of HBCU linebackers playing right now, getting a lot of downs on defense the way Shaquille Leonard does. So consequently, we're left to try to choose between the Hargroves of the world, the Grover Stewarts of the world, and some of the other guys. But that's the situation we're in right now.
So we have a new guy debuting. I think I'm correct. This is his first time being a player of the week on offense.
Yes, correct.
Atlanta Falcon. Who would have thought an Atlanta Falcon would be making this list? But the Falcons, they've been showing everybody up this season.
Yeah, this is a new Falcons team, new coach, new direction. And Kadero Hodge, who moved over from Detroit a year ago, is getting on the field quite a bit for the Falcons. And this week he had 3 catches in the regular offense, but he had a big 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter as they got close, even though they could not get by Tampa Bay. They pulled within 21-15 in the fourth quarter on his 2-point conversion. Kadero Hodge is now in his 5th season in the league out of Prairie View A&M. He's playing well. He's also a very special player on special teams. That's one of the things that's keeping him in the league. He played 8 special teams plays, and he also had a solo tackle on special teams. So he was being considered for the special teams award also. But just catching 3 passes for 33 yards this week for the Falcons earns him the Offensive Player of the Week award.
Shout out Kadero Hodge. And also the Atlanta Falcons, Cal Pitts did not play for them last week. I don't know what his status is going forward, but that could present new and continuous opportunity for Kadero Hodge. So that's something to look out for.
Absolutely.
In the ATL.
Absolutely.
So, Lou, I'm tired of you keep putting these NFC East people on your list. And it's not someone in midnight green, Kelly green, black and green, white and green, all green. But again, New York Giants. First of all, shout out to the Giants because
they're balling. They're balling.
They balling.
Who would have thunk it? 4-1, unheard of.
Just took down the Green Bay Packers.
They did. Saquon Barkley has declared, "I'm back."
Right, I'm back.
It. Yeah, and he's showing it.
Now I'm scared, Lou. I'm low-key scared for the Giants. I'm for real. Like going into the season, the Giants for the last couple of years been 2-0, 2 easy wins. Now I'm
right. Yeah, watch out for the NFC East. You got some competition. Dallas, even without Dak Prescott, is winning. Jones, the quarterback for the New York Giants, is playing well. So Saquon Barkley is.
Do you have to remind me of this?
Yes. Which one are you facing this week? You got Dallas and New York this week.
Dallas.
You have Dallas. Okay.
And I'm scared. Yeah. I'm very.
Are you playing? Is it in Philadelphia or in Dallas?
It's in Philly.
Okay.
But they're like hungry for us, Luke. They're hungry for us. They were like,
and you are.
They were like, we want y'all undefeated. They were like, yeah, we want y'all undefeated coming to play us.
Yeah, and you all have escaped the last 2 wins. I think you would agree.
Escape, Luke. Okay, we blocked that field goal, Luke. That's not escaping. That's special teams. That's playmakers everywhere.
Which field goal did you block? The one
they missed.
That could have lost the game. The one that could have won the game.
The one that would have potentially tied the game. We blocked it. That's not luck. That's skill.
Okay, I'm sorry. Please, how dare me? How dare me say anything negative about the Eagles?
No, you can say negative stuff, but only valid negative stuff. That's false.
But did you think it was an escape? Because I know last week you were talking about you were worried as it was going down the stretch. Were you worried this time going down the stretch?
Oh, yes, Lou. I was scared. But I should have had faith in my team. I was scared. Lou, I was scared. Like
I hear you. But listen, let me tell you who wasn't scared. I wasn't scared playing the Buffalo Bills. My Steelers, I wasn't scared at all. I was happy to see Kenny Pickett on the field and Mitch Trubisky on the bench, but I wasn't scared at all. I was so happy just to see him on the bench. I didn't even worry about the score. I didn't even worry about us giving up a 98-yard touchdown pass in the first series of the game. I didn't worry about us being down 24-3 at the half. I didn't worry about any of that. I just was so happy that Trubisky was no longer the quarterback. Kenny Pickett, in his first real playing time, his first real start, he threw for over 300 yards. He showed he will.
I didn't know he did that.
Yes, he threw it 40+ times, but he threw for over 300 yards, and he threw the ball down the field. You got Pickens involved, the kid that they've been raving about.
I like Pickens.
Pickens had second game over 100 yards since Kenny Pickett has been the quarterback. So I'm not worried about the Steelers. I'm not worried about wins. I'm just worried about getting him straight and then getting the offensive line in the draft next year, because we are pitiful on the offensive line. We're killing my boy, the running back. We're killing him. He had 11 carries for 20 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't win 11 carries for 20 yards, but we have a quarterback. I'm satisfied with that.
It's definitely a rebuilding year. And it's the rebuild or no rebuild. It's the Bills. Like, it's Josh Allen.
They're tough. They're tough.
They're tough.
So, and speaking of your New York East guy, we didn't mention his name. We're talking about Jamie Gillan, the punter, who is now our special teams player of the week for the 5th straight week. because we really don't have anybody. All of the rookies that we talk about we're going to follow, they've been inactive. You know, Jacoby Durant was inactive. Marquise Bell with the Dallas was inactive. The only one that played was Joshua Williams, and he only played primarily on special teams. You know, so those rookies that we talked a lot about in the preseason, you know, having a hard time breaking into the lineup, getting up to play. Even though Kobe Durant had an interception, you know, in his first play, and he hadn't been back on the field since then. You know, so the special teams have been few and far between, even though Chester Rogers did have a decent game this week. He had 3 returns for the Cleveland Browns for 64 yards, including a 28-yarder, considered Chester Rogers. But I went with Gillan because he's still bombing the ball. He's still in the top 5 in terms of punters in the NFL.
It's hard to make that final cut with Luke. You guys got to step up those returns.
That's right.
Step it up. Luke said he almost made it, but not quite.
Got to make some tackles on special teams to do something special. So far, Gillan has been the man.
He has been the man. The Giants have been the guys, the mans. They're balling. Hopefully, you know, they don't give us too much trouble. Hopefully, Jamie is not the special teams player of the week when we play the Giants, because that's bad news for me.
As Mac McCain going to be back on the field, going to keep an eye on that to see if he gets back on the field with the Eagles.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look out for going forward. And of course, we're going to be keeping our lookout for the rookies. I think that's one of the big things we're going to be keeping an eye on, the rookies that you mentioned. And then, of course, Matt McCain, because like I said, there is a chance in the secondary he might be getting called up maybe midway through the season at some point. But we kind of are in limbo when it comes to our slot cornerback position. But y'all, that's week 5, your HBCU NFL report. We got some breaking news in here. We had some funky news courtesy of Cam Newton, and we had, of course, our players of the week. But guys, I'm Symone Stanley. He is Lute. We are here with your Week 5 HBCU NFL report. Thank you guys so much for joining us.